Lucic went from Boston to LA like Mookie Betts. Hello.
Welcome to another episode
So Cornerback Kings Talk.
I'm your host, Reed.
And it is time for That's So Kings, the podcast.
And let's hop into this
Podcast.
for real.
Good day, LA. This is That's So Kings, the podcast, episode 3. What really happened after 2014? Yes, 2014 is a great year for us as Kings fans. And whether you're joining us via the Buzzpower Audio Network or YouTube, uploaded probably a day or so later, I want to see what went wrong and what did management do in that time to get that we are in this position. Let's get started. Now I do want to preface with a move that was good it's like initially good move, short-term gain but long-term risk. It was the trade for Mayer and Gabrick. I will go over that trade in more detail in a future episode of this mini podcast. And we only have to give Matt Fratton a conditional third, which may or may not have transferred. That will come in a later video. And a second round pick that eventually, I'll spoil that one, that becomes Travis Dermott of the Maple Leafs. Solid player, hasn't really shown himself yet. And another one that we did do as like a side deal, a couple of them, was, well, actually one of them, we traded 2 bumbling prospects to the Sabres. Well, bumbling in terms of where we're going to put them, because hey, we just want to, we're gunning for a cup. We got Brady McNabb, another guy that I don't recognize, and 2 second-round picks, and one of them was Buffaloes at the time, and that's 2014, 2015 Buffaloes. That means really good. That turns out the first one was 2014 Kings, so it really didn't matter what that second rounder was, so we just got it back. That became Alex Lintuemi, or just say Linty. I believe he's playing in Sweden, and then the other one is Eric Chernak, who I'll come back to him later. We trade off prospect Lyndon Vay for the draft rights to Roland McEwen. He'll come up later. So the big thing back to Gabrick is we signed him a 7-year deal, and he's not on the right side of 30, and he's had health issues. This Ferrari comes with some damaged goods. Now, nothing really takes place that's big after the first Cup win. Just Willie Mitchell becomes the captain of the Florida Panthers, which, good for him. He needed, I didn't see a future, and plus we wanted to keep bringing up more young D to bring into roles. This was also the Slava Voinov year. Slava Voinov gets into some trouble off the field, and I don't want to go into too detail because we all know that story, Kings fans. He's now deported and back to Russia. So how are we going to supplant him? We haven't done that I think up until last year when we plucked this Sean Walker guy out. So I feel like having a second right-handed D who can also put up some points, that's really what matters now. But then Justin Williams goes to Washington to try to win a cup. Jared Stoll leaves. Just depth guys that you root for are gone. Robin Reguera retires. Matt Green retires. Just things like that. And then we trade for Andrej Sekera. Reason why it pisses me off is because he only played 2 months and you didn't make the playoffs, and you gave up Roland McEwen, the guy that we got in the draft a year later at least, and a conditional first-round pick in either 2015 or 2016. And that was the 2016 draft, and that became Julien Gauthier. Thankfully, he hasn't really done anything with Carolina, and now he's in the Rangers organization. So he's not haunting Kings fans' dreams right now, unless he scores on us. Another big one, and I'll get to this one hopefully in a future video, is the Milan Lucic trade. Lucic went from Boston to LA like Mookie Betts, but he actually played a bit. We gave up Martin Jones, Colin Miller, and a first-round pick. So yes, with that Shakira deal, it was either 2015 or 16. We gave it up in 16 because we made the playoffs, and 15 because we traded Boston. Because it was our own pick and we had it, and Boston wanted to stack the deck, and they picked a guy named Jakub Zaboril, and he hasn't turned into anything. So I'm glad, and also unglad, because you don't want to see someone's future not be fulfilled, but you're also happy as a team of a rival that they didn't use their pick on, let's say, a Brock Besser or Matt Barzal. Those were guys that Boston could have taken but chose to didn't take. Wow, revisionist history, eh? But there's a couple other like minor deals in Dean Lombardi's time after the second cup that you go, what? Why did we do that as just a paper transaction? I guess so. Like bringing back Rob Scuderi the second time. But one thing that they did do was acquire Vinny Lecavalier and Luke Shen for Jordan Wheel and a third. For Jordan Wheel and a third. That third became Carson Tarwinski of Philadelphia. He's actually cracked the lineup this year only. And he looks like a power winger. Hopefully he doesn't hurt us. But Wheel's now, I believe, in Arizona or Montreal. He's solid, but it's just an alright deal. Lecavalier is not the player he was, and he's now retired after that year. And that was the year we got smacked by the Sharks in 5 games. Coincidentally, that same year, a month later, we traded for Chris Versteeg, and we gave up a conditional 5th and Valentin Zikov. That pick, I don't think the Kings got, the Hurricanes got. And Zikov, he's in his 3rd organization because he went from LA to Carolina in that deal. And he got claimed by Vegas. No, he got claimed by Edmonton, then he got claimed by Vegas. I guess he hasn't cut any. And he was in a undersized league. He was a small guy in a big guy's league at the time of drafted. So I don't know what's wrong. And now we're in a more smaller guys league in terms of goal scoring. It's just ridiculous. Now after that playoff run against San Jose, I believe we tried to do it again, and a lot more. We didn't make it. We acquired Ben Bishop, and we traded away Eric Chernock, Peter Budaj, and a couple picks. Swapped it, and it was kind of weird because I thought Eric Chernock was actually going to stay in the farm system, which no, apparently he's doing well in Tampa. But back at the draft that previous year, so after, I believe the Sharks, no, they believe the year after the Sharks year. No, the problem is these non-even, do we have a first round pick or did we make the playoffs? It's kind of up in befuddlement. We traded for Jack Campbell. That was proved like a paper transaction, but that actually went well. That actually boosted his confidence, and he worked in Ontario and all that, which proved for this next trade that happened. Darcy Kemper, our backup, but wait, that's a year later though, to Arizona for Scott Wedgwood, who's out of our system, and Toby Reeder, who got blamed in Edmonton a couple years ago. But we traded for Jerome McGinley, and for a conditional pick that didn't go to Colorado, it became Aiden Dudas, who's mini Brendan Gallagher. We traded Dwight King to Montreal. Good, thank you. It's just a lot of stuff that you say, what? Richards was bought out, and we've had, since it was an illegal contract that Philly signed to, which I don't understand, but it's just a contract signed before the recent lockout. We have rehoucher penalties up until this year, so when cap friendly or this hockey year turns to the next one with whenever it comes, no more recapture penalties. That means just buyout and cap compliance fees. And that goes from when we bought his contract out in 15-16 to 20-31-32. Granted, the money dips for a while, but guess what else expires then? What?
What expired then?
Bryce Harper's current contract with the Philadelphia Phillies. Yes, that's how many years we have to wait until Mike Richards' name gets clear of the books, and only 2 more years for Kovalchuk and 3 more years. 3 years for Kovalchuk actually, and 4 more years for Funov, because we wanted to go in a different direction, and that's probably all right. And then we just gotta think what else went wrong besides bad trades and bad free agent signing. Well, that's basically it. And thankfully, a new coach was brought in the second time, because didn't really care for John Stevens after the first period, because it was after the honeymoon phase, and you don't bring Willie Desjardins in as an interim. He put a bumbling fourth liner on a line with 2 future Hall of Famers in the Sedins in Vancouver. You don't do that to your best players. I thought it was kind of a joke when it happened when he was hired. And I'm glad we have McClellan, who, laughingly, we get all of San Jose's rejects, I guess. First Daryl Sutter, then Dean Lombardi. Well, not in that order. And now we have Tom McClellan. So it's kind of funky. So who knows what will happen next. And it's simple. Bad management. And I want to tell you something that's pretty alarming. 2014 was a long time ago, which is not that alarming, but kind of relevant. 2014 was so long, Iggy Azalea had a top 5 hit. Just let that sink in. And you know what made the most money that year in terms of movies? The 4th Transformers. Nope, no Star Wars, no big Marvel had number 1. They actually had number 4 or 5 with the second Captain America film. But still, what a weird year for entertainment. And I guess you need some weird to win a Stanley Cup. And that is it for this episode. And come back next week when we take a look at another tree that I've expertly crafted. I'm just very intrigued by how long this one's taken. That is it for this video. Thank you all for watching and for this podcast. If you're on Buzzsprout, make sure you follow social media and download the podcast. If you're on YouTube, you know what to do. Like and subscribe, turn on post notifications, and share the bloody thing. This has been That's So Kings, the podcast. Hope to hear y'all next time. Goodbye.